Hey guys, welcome to Naledi Dilena. It's your girl Naledi and I hope you enjoy this video. I'm making this video to give you guys recommendations on the books that you guys could read. So this is for those that are beginning or beginners rather, and for those that are bona fide bookworms. So if you're a beginner reader, you're trying to get into this lifestyle of reading, one great way is to read books that have been recommended to you from, a trusted source, me, and then you can pick a book that you enjoy that will give you that, motivation to keep on reading. And for bookworms, maybe you feel as if you've exhausted the genre you're into, or you've read all the books of the authors that you usually gravitate towards. So this is a video to give you new inspiration. This video and the part 2 that is coming, it has a wide variety of books that are diverse in terms of genre, plot, authors and characters, so you guys are really spoiled for choice. And when you research these books, understand that the book covers that I give you, or the book covers that I show right here, may not be the book covers that you see immediately when you research those books. But don't worry, that's just the world of, books. A book has the ability and often does have more than one book cover or more than one book art. I started counting from June. So from June till now, I've read 28 fictional books and one non-fictional book. So they will all be in alphabetical order, and so the part 1 will be on the first half of those, the first 14, and part 2 will be on the first 15. So subscribe and turn your post notifications on so that you know when the second video drops, and you can rather have the complete list of books that I will give you guys. You guys are really spoiled for choice, so I hope you really enjoy this video. Alright, so the first book is A Burning by Megha Majumdar, who is an Indian author, and this is actually her debut novel, so kudos to her. And basically it follows the lives mainly of 3 people, but others are involved, but it follows the lives of these 3 people whose lives are changed after a terrorist attack. And what I like about this book is that the terrorist attack is not the center of the book, but it is a catalyst for change in these people's lives. One of the main characters actually is the person that is suspected to have carried out the attack or have helped the people carry out the attack. So you get that in the whole book anyway. But what I really loved about this book is that it opens you up to Indian life, not just Indian society, but Indian tradition, culture, and even its political system. Then we have A Spy in Time by Imran Kuvadia, who is a South African novel. I believe this is his second book, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, this is a sci-fi novel, so it falls under the sci-fi genre. And it follows Agent Enva 11, who is sent by the agency to identify and deal with the hidden enemy. So they know that somebody is coming against them, and they're trying to figure out who it is, and one of the agents doing so is Enva 11. This book has a major plot twist. Really major plot twist, and so if you're somebody who loves that, you should definitely check out this book. This book is the protagonist is a black person, so if you're looking for diversity and representation, there you go. One thing I do like about it is that race is a factor in this book. Like you do delve into race, but it is not the center of the book. It's just something that you come across as you read the book. And it has a very dark take on race, or a dark take on how race is perceived in society and what people will do to assimilate to the ideal race of the particular society. So that's very interesting. I'll give that to the book. Then we have Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who is, of course, a famous Nigerian author. Then we have Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Science, or Benjamin Alire Science, I'm not so sure. He is an American author, I believe of Hispanic heritage, not just from his name, but also from the characters in the book. But basically, this book is about a beautiful friendship that blossoms between two teenage boys. And this friendship doesn't just involve them, but ends up pulling in both their families, and specifically Aristotle's family. And Aristotle is the person who you read more about, because this book is written as if it's in his perspective, if that makes sense. So yeah, you get to explore themes of family, themes of love, themes of friendship, and this is essentially a coming of age book. This book has an LGBTQ plus tag. So basically what that means is that a character in the book or an event in the book is specifically in connection to the community. So there's that for you, for all of those who are interested. This is a very emotional book. So if you're a sensitive person like me, you'll cry, because I cried. Then we have A Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, who is a British author. Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut, who is a prolific 20th century novelist in America. And then we have Caraval by Stephanie Garber. She is an American author, and Caraval is the first book of a trilogy. It's Caraval, Legendary, and Finale. And basically it follows the story of two sisters who run away from home to go play the game, the magic game, often associated with the man Legend. So this man Legend travels around the world and sets up a magical game for players to get involved in, and then ultimately there's a prize. But one thing they tell you about this book is that the game can end up messing with your mind. So they constantly warn you, be careful, this game will mess with your mind. And so it's a very interesting book. It's not really dark, but it has, it's a very serious book, not a Winx Club type of book, if that makes sense to you guys. So yeah, that was a very interesting book. Then we have Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, who is a Nigerian author as well. This book is amazing. It was a little bit long for me, but it was amazing. And so basically, this is set in the kingdom of Orisha, a mythical kingdom. It's fake kingdom. So meaning you won't find the kingdom of Orisha in the modern world today. Or as far as I know, you won't find it. But basically, magic has disappeared, and the king of Orisha has used that to his advantage to essentially try and get rid of the magi or the magi. I don't know how it's pronounced, but basically the magi are the people who are able to, do magic. They're the conduits of magic, and they are very distinct in the sense that you can sort of like figure out immediately that somebody is magi or of the magi by the fact that they have white hair. So that was very interesting. So you follow, specifically in this book, you follow the life of Zeli as she journeys to try and return magic back to Orisha. And she has an unexpected ally, surprise ally in this whole ordeal. So in this book, you read through the perspectives of everyone involved. Those chasing after Zeli, those helping Zeli, and those that come across Zeli. So that's a very, very interesting book. I would definitely tell you guys to read it. I'm recommending all these books, but essentially what I'm saying is that you should read this book especially. It has very Harry Potter-esque vibes in it because there are 10 clans of magi, and essentially a magi becomes a magi at the age of 13 through rituals and stuff like that. And prior to that, they have no ability essentially to to do magic, and they're called diviners. So that's a very interesting thing for all of you that enjoyed Harry Potter. I think you guys would definitely enjoy this book as well. Then we have Coconut by Kopano Maka, who is a South African author, and this is also her debut novel, and basically it explores ideas of blackness and whiteness, and the idea that you can lose your blackness, whether intentionally or unintentionally, and it explores ideas of what it means to be close to white people, or close to what we know as whiteness, this ideal of whiteness. Then we have Galapagos by Kurt Vonnegut again. By the way, Kurt's style of writing is very different. So if it confuses you at first, it's got nothing to do with you. You're not reading it wrong. It's not out of this world, but it's definitely different from the typical styles of writing that you come across. Then we have Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Morena Garcia. I'm not so sure about the nationality of this author, but this book is set in the 1950s in Mexico. So there's that. We know, we're doing a little bit of globe trotting with the books that we read in this time, in this pandemic. But basically, it follows the story of a girl who is essentially like a servant in her grandfather's house. And so she opens up the big black chest in her grandfather's room, and in doing so, she releases a god. And so she journeys with this god across Mexico, and even a little bit into the south side of modern day United States of America, to kind of help this god build up what he needs to then take back his throne, because he was overthrown, or he was outthroned. Don't know what the word is for, but he was overthrown by his brother. So he gets the help of this young girl, and they kind of develop a friendship / relationship as they try to get this god back to his rightful place as the lord of the underworld. One thing I really did enjoy about this book is that it had elements of Mayan mythology in it. And so the most common mythology you'll come across in literature is Roman and Greek, and it's essentially the same thing. And so this book really opened me up to that, and I'm really, really grateful for that. It was very interesting to kind of go through all of that. The next book we have is Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett, who are American authors. Now, one thing about Neil Gaiman, he usually writes books that involve other realms and the other worlds, and spiritual stuff. So if you don't have the stomach for that, don't read his books. Also, a warning in particular to this book: if you're a Christian who is weak in faith, or very particular about Christian characters and Christian personalities, then don't read this book, because this book is kind of like a secular outlook on the end of the world, but it involves the two sides that are typically brought up when talking about the end of the world, and that is God versus the devil. And so in this book, you start reading this book 11 years prior to the end of the world. And you get to see all the people involved, whether they are critical in the end of the world, or they are just roped in because of the relations they have with the people that are critical in this in the end of the world. So there are a lot of characters involved in this book. You need to be aware of that. But they give you a list of those characters in the beginning of the book. But I will say it is a very, very funny book. It falls under comedic, fantasy, and horror genres. I'm not so sure about the horror part, because I'm somebody that can't stomach horror. But I was absolutely fine with this book. So it's a very interesting book. I give it a 9 out of 10. Then we have I Do Not Come to You by Chance by Adeyobi Trisha Nwabani, who is an Nigerian, or a Nigerian? It's a Nigerian, sorry. Oh gosh. Who is a Nigerian author. And basically this book explores the world of those that engage in fraud, basically the 419ers. And so you follow the story through the perspective of Kingsley, who is the eldest son of a family that is very much into education, doing things right. And so he graduates university, but for years can't find a job, and you know, they're struggling in the Nigeria that they're in. And so basically his father unfortunately passes on, and he loses his girlfriend, not because he doesn't have a job, but because he won't marry her, is what I'm getting from the book. And so his uncle proposes to him to join the fraudulent world, the 419 world. And it's so funny because the uncle's name or nickname is Cash Daddy. So that's another funny thing. This book is funny in the sense that some of the characters and the situations that you find that the characters find themselves in are very, very funny. So that's kind of what lends to the comedy in the book. But what I like about this book is that the author just presents to you the world of fraud and the people involved in it. So you get to have, or you get to develop your own opinion concerning that. You also get to see Kingsley's opinion about the world change, and I think that was very, very interesting. The last book is If I Had Your Face by Francis Cha, who is a South Korean author. I know, we went all the way to South Korea, and I really, really did enjoy this book, so I'm glad I went all the way to South Korea in Zimbabwe. Basically this story follows 4 women who live in the same apartment building or the same block of flats, whichever one you want to use. And basically through going into their lives, their past and their present, you get to see more and more of South Korean society, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it. So I'm really, really happy that through this book I was able to learn more about South Korea, not just from K-pop and stuff like that, but really about the society there and just the life that, you know, people live there. So it was a very, very interesting book. One other thing in this book is that the 4 women do end up having or developing a friendship between them. So that's another lovely, lovely thing. But if you want to broaden your horizon in terms of the world, this is a great book. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Tell me if you guys enjoyed this video by giving me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notifications, because I will be, of course, uploading part 2 of this video, and you need to be aware when that happens. So turn your post notifications on. Please comment down below if you have read any of these books. Tell me whether or not you enjoyed the books. Maybe we can even discuss the books down below. I hope you guys really did enjoy this book, and I really hope that some of you have been inspired. Some of you have been able to pick out a book or 2 that you're like, you know what, I could actually enjoy that book, and you're looking out to read that book. If you want a link on for a site where you can download these books, I will put one down below, the one that I usually use. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Naledi_Dilena. And I'll see you in the next video.